failure is the base of the temple of success. Just like any structure, the deeper and stronger the base is, the higher and stronger the possibility for the structure to stand on that base. We have many experiences of failure in our day-to-day life, in business, in all kinds of work environments. And the way we interpret this failure experience is a big determinant for success. It is inevitable that all work experiences will get you to the point of failure. This is inevitable in life, in everybody's life. It might be the most successful businessman, the most successful business, the most successful celebrities, leaders in any field. They have encountered and are encountering and will encounter failure of different kinds in different aspects of their life. The difference is that the businesses and the individuals who can accept failure and build a strong base by accepting this failure. That does not mean that you are seeking failure or that you are after failure or you are attached to failure in any way. But when failure comes as an inevitable part of experience, to allow that to consolidate your base on which success will be built. It is like the cup that gets carved in a hard rock because of different weather conditions, because of wear and tear. There is a cup-shaped hollow that gets formed in a rock. The deeper this hollow becomes, the more capacity it will have to hold water when rain showers onto the rock. This cup, this hollow in the rock is failure, and the capacity to hold success, the capacity to hold water is the capacity for success. There is a tendency in each one of us and in all businesses to neglect failure, to not give it sufficient importance. But it is in a comparative terms, if not more, at least an equally important part as success. Taking another example, it is like if you take a donut, then failure is like the hole, the empty space in the donut, and the surrounding food material is success. If you want a donut, you will have, it is inevitable that you take the food as well as the empty space in the donut. It's in fact the empty space in which all objects, businesses, individuals interact. And that is why failure has a kind of a grounding feeling about it. It is more spacious, it is more accommodating, and more leveling and grounding as compared to success. Success, by its very nature, has a heady, exciting, intense feeling about it, a peaking kind of a feeling. Whereas failure has a more grounding, leveling, more open and spacious kind of a feeling. And that is the reason that all stories of success, all successful business stories, success stories of any leader, successful leader, the higher they have reached, if you explore a bit deeper into the development story of that business or into the life story of that leader, then you will find that those pillars of success, that structure of success is built on a rock solid, firm base of experiences of failure, and more often than not, repeated failures. And that builds the capacity to digest the inevitable part of life experience. In a way, the more capacity you have, your business has, to be ready to accept and to, in a way, assimilate failure, the stronger is your base, the more capacity you have to project and grow towards success. It is not failure that is the problem, but the fear of failure is the real problem. As individuals and as businesses, most of us have a tendency to dissociate ourselves, disconnect ourselves from failure, from the feeling of failure or the experience of failure, to label it as something that should be rejected. There is a feeling of rejection about failure, feeling of resistance, and all of this accumulates as a fear complex about failure in businesses and with individuals. And it is this fear of failure that is the real problem and not failure. In fact, if you are connected to failure, if you are experiencing failure in your business, in your work environment, it means that you are, through failure, getting connected to success. Again, it is not that you are aiming for failure, but as an inevitable part of life, that failure is being presented to you, is being given to you as an experience. The right perspective to look at it is that if you connect with it without resistance and with acceptance, then in reality, in fact, the truth of the situation is that you are getting connected with success. But the fear complex about failure keeps you in a mode of resistance, in a mode of rejection about failure. And in reality, you also stay in a mode of resistance and rejection about success. What we mean by that is that failure is not an opposite of success. It's like the cycle of night and day, or the cycle of seasons, winter and summer. If you are connected with the darkness of night, then you know that eventually there will be the light of day, because it is a natural cycle. That is how we find the world as we are born in. If you are not connected with the darkness of night, then you know for sure that you cannot be connected with the light of day, because night and day are a natural cycle. If you are connected with night, you are connected with day automatically. Similarly with winter and summer, the seasonal cycles. If in the world as you find it, where you are born, if you are experiencing intense winter, it means that an intense summer is to follow. That is the natural order of things. You don't have to do something different or special to bring or to pull that summer in, or be focused and determined to have day, the light of day. If you are, through your actions and activities in your business, experiencing failure, which means that you are in the cycle of failure and success, which means that you are on the right path. The problem would be if you are not experiencing failure or success, which means that you are disconnected from the path of success, which means you are disconnected from the cycle of failure and success. But when you are experiencing failure, in reality it means that success is to follow. This is as inevitable as the experience of failure. But what keeps us from progressing towards success through failure is this resistance and rejection feeling towards failure. Once we resist and reject and give importance to fear of failure, and are not in an open acceptance mode about failure, we keep ourselves distanced from this cycle of failure and success. It's like keeping ourselves sheltered from the cycle of winter and summer, separated from the cycle of night and day. If you don't experience night, you cannot experience day. If you are separating yourselves from the cycle of seasons, you cannot have a beautiful spring and summer. Similarly, if you are in a fear mode about failure, you are separating yourselves from the cycle of failure and success, you cannot have success. But if you are in a mode where you are in your activity mode, in your strategy mode, doing everything that you can in your natural flow of things by being true to your vision, and you are experiencing failure, then it is vital that you accept and be open towards this failure, because it means that you are on the right path and you are getting connected to the goals of success. So, failure is not the opposite of success. Failure, in reality, in truth, is a signal that you are on the right path, that you are now getting connected to the cycle of failure and success, and that if you openly accept without resistance and rejection and fear the experience of failure and learn the skill, the capacity to live through it, then eventually it is inevitable that you will be given the, or you will cross, you will come upon the experience of success. Failure also has a unifying, uniting space about it. Success on one hand has a peaking kind of a feeling of headiness, excitement. But failure has a leveling, grounding kind of a feeling associated with it. It comes with that leveling and grounding feeling. And that leveling and grounding feeling offers the spaciousness, the openness for your team members, for people who are in this work process to come together and unite. So failure has a unifying, uniting space. It opens up a unifying and uniting space. It's like if the work process or the business project can be, or your entrepreneurship experience can be considered as a team of people who are trying to build a human pyramid. If they reach to that point of success, then they are connected to each other and they are standing in their respective roles. But if they fall down and they fail, then there is a kind of a leveling, grounding kind of a experience where all of them are out of their roles, out of their tasks, out of their objectives, and having fallen down on the ground, they are in a way leveled with each other in a non-judgmental way. They are all equal and open, and that space of openness and leveling gives a different feeling of unity and togetherness. What is important is to learn the skill, the capacity, the art to live this experience of failure completely and totally. With this feeling of having fallen down, having been leveled and centered, if that feeling of togetherness and unity grows, then there are new creativities, new thoughts, new ideas, and in that spaciousness of the experience of failure, these thoughts, ideas, plans can help you to reorient towards the path of success. But the most vital element is how you interpret, how you approach this experience of failure. If fear, resistance, rejection cloud your experience of failure, your perception of the experience of failure, then it takes you further away from your goal of success. Whereas if you and your team manage to be in an acceptance mode about failure, if you look at failure as a turning point, then in reality, through that experience of failure, your business, your organization is getting reoriented towards your goal of success. The cycle of failure and success has been set in motion, and you can know for sure that if you manage to live that experience of failure successfully and strongly, then success is inevitable. It is just a milestone, the next milestone in the same process. So know that failure is not the opposite of success. Know that failure is the base, the strong base for the foundation for the structure of success to be built. And the more you allow yourselves and your business the capacity to accept and to assimilate the experiences of failure, the stronger and higher your business organization will grow towards success. Also, it is important to remember that the spaciousness of failure provides this atmosphere for coming together, for unifying and uniting and reorienting your entire team towards the path of success.